Hi everyone, my name is Caroline. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stream your music from a Raspberry Pi Plex Media Server to your Amazon Echo devices. So this is my reminder, please put your devices on mute as I will be saying the word Alexa a lot during this video. So let me tell you the backstory. I just realized, and I apologize, I realized this a few months too late, I just realized that Amazon Music has stopped allowing us to upload music to Amazon Music, which cuts off my ability to play my music that I bought in MP3 format to Alexa. I covered a similar video last week where we set up something called My Media Server, and to me that's the easiest way of doing this. Plex is a little bit harder, but it's got a few more features. So I'm going to show you how to do the same thing, upload your music and run a media server from a Raspberry Pi to your Amazon Echo. Before we get started, let me give you a quick demo of how this works. Alexa, ask Plex to play Silent Partner.
Playing music by Silent Partner.
You can play music on your Amazon Echo and also your Google Home. Now, Plex on Google Home, I can't voice activate to play my music, but I can cast, which is opening the Plex app on my phone and then playing to my Google Home. So let me show you how that works right now. I'm going to go to the Plex app here, and then I'll hit music, and then I'll hit cast, and I found my Google Home in the kitchen right here, and now it's connected, and then I'm going to pick something to play. And then it starts playing. Look at that. And then I can stop it by hitting pause. I can also cast to my Chromecast device so I can watch movies or listen to music through my TV. And all of this is possible through creating a media server. And I've decided to use a Raspberry Pi 3 to create this media server. Now, why have I decided to use a Raspberry Pi 3? Number one, you're serving up music, you're serving up media, and your device has to be on. Your computer has to be on for this to work. And for me, the easiest way to do it was through a Raspberry Pi 3 because I can load on everything, plug it in, and put it in the corner of my home, and it's always on. Otherwise, you can do this entire project with just your home computer, either a Windows or a Mac machine, and follow along on the tutorial. But your computer has to be on for this to work. You know, it goes into maintenance mode, or you have to turn it off, or you know, a number of things can happen. So that's why I've decided to use the Raspberry Pi 3. Now this is a tutorial, so I will get started step by step. Just a few notes before we get started. Multi-room music is not supported. This is a Amazon skill, so it's not playing through the music library. This is kind of a workaround thing. And if you do want to play music on your Google Home, Google does allow you to upload music, MP3s, directly to Google Music, and that's another method of doing this. But last week I showed you how to do this on My Media for Amazon Alexa, and that works great. This is a little bit more complicated of a tutorial, which is why I waited till this week to do it, but it's got a lot more flexibility, and I'm not buying any of the upgrades. So what I'm showing you here today is free with a little bit of elbow grease of putting this together, but otherwise there's no annual or monthly fee with Plex. There are a bunch of upgrades to Plex that you can get. I've not subscribed to any of those, so I can't tell you about any of them, but that's how they do make their money. If you do find this really useful, please do support Plex. This is not an endorsement of Plex. I don't know the people who make Plex. I just really found the Plex Media Server really useful. So thank you to the makers of Plex. Now let's get started. The materials you'll need for this project are, I'll be using a Pi 3 B, or you can use a B+. You'll need a micro SD card for your project. I'm going to use a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. I do recommend a larger micro SD card because I do recommend saving all of your music files onto this micro SD card. I'll show you how to do that in this video here. You'll also need a keyboard mouse. I'm going to use one that's USB. You'll need a USB. You'll need your monitor, and it will need to have an HDMI input here. You'll also need a power supply, a properly rated 5 volt 2.5 amp power supply to power your Pi at all times. Now in my video I'm going to use my laptop. I'm going to show you how to get your music out of iTunes on your laptop and save it to this flash drive here. I do recommend having a large flash drive you can save all of your music to, and then in the video I'll show you how to save it from the flash drive to your Raspberry Pi as well. And those are the materials you'll need for this project. I'll start by inserting my flash drive into my computer. It should pop right up. There it is. Then I'll open iTunes. In the previous scene, I showed you where I inserted my flash drive into my computer. Now I am in iTunes, and I am on a Macintosh computer. Hopefully this will work about the same if you have a Windows machine. So my understanding, and I'm totally not an expert in this, is first you go into iTunes and you hit File, Library, and then you click on Organize Library. And then you want to check the Consolidate Files section, and then that puts all of your files into nice little folders. Not 100% sure about this. Mine were already consolidated, so I did not actually do this step in real life, but to my understanding this is how you get everything organized properly. I'm going to cancel out of that because my files are already organized. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just find a song. Really, any song will do. And this is under my library. So make sure you are clicked on this library and you can see the songs that you have purchased. And I'm going to just click on a song that I quote unquote own. Now, this is all YouTube royalty-free music that I downloaded from YouTube just for illustrative purposes. So the artist is Silent Partner and the album is YouTube Audio Library. That is just the music that I have on this computer here as I'm cutting videos. And I'm gonna select a song and I'm gonna hit these 3 dots over here, and then I'm gonna click on Show in Finder. And that takes me to the file manager of my Mac machine, also known as Finder. And this shows me where all of my MP3s are stored on my computer. So it's under iTunes Media, Music, and then all of my music is right here, organized by artist. And what you would do, assuming that your flash drive is big enough, is you would select all of your artist folders and you would copy it onto your flash drive like this. Now that all of my music has been saved to my flash drive, I just need to eject my flash drive right here. Next, I'm ready to install the Raspbian image onto my micro SD card that's going to be sort of like a hard drive for my Raspberry Pi. And my computer has a nice little slot for an SD card. This is a micro SD card, so I'll just put my micro SD card in the SD card, and then I will put my SD card into my computer. First, we will download the Raspbian operating system, and I'm going to raspberrypi.org, and I'll link to this below down in the description. I'm going to hit downloads here, and I'm going to go to Raspbian here, and then I'm going to select Raspbian Stretch with Desktop, download zip, and it automatically starts downloading. Now this is a very large file, and depending on your home speed of your network, it might take a while. I'm going to exit out of that because I've already finished that download. Next, I'll open Etcher.io right here, and I'm going to select my image. So I'm going to downloads. It's the last thing I downloaded here, and it's right here. I'm going to hit open. Then it already knows the SD card I want to use. I want to use this 32 gigabyte SD card, and then I'll hit flash, and that will put the Raspbian system, after I type in my password, onto my micro SD card. Now that Etcher is done flashing my micro SD card, it automatically ejects, and I just need to remove my micro SD card. We're now ready to power up our Pi here. We'll take the SD card I just burned in the last scene here, flip the Pi over, and then insert this micro SD card into our Raspberry Pi just like that. And then let's plug in the mouse and keyboard right here. We also need to connect our HDMI cable right here, and then we will power it up right now. Later on, I will be ready to copy the files from my flash drive onto my Raspberry Pi, and I can just insert my flash drive right here. And that's all you need. The new Raspbian system will walk you through setting up your language and the country that you're in, installing updates, and setting up your Wi-Fi. At minimum, in order to continue this tutorial, you will need to have your system connected to your home internet. Now you're viewing my Raspberry Pi desktop. I've got Chromium, I've got my web browser open on the left here, I've got a terminal, I'm going to open here on the right, and I am following a blog post from makeuseof.com, how to turn a Raspberry Pi into a Plex Media Server, and it gives you great step-by-step instructions here, and I am going to follow these instructions almost exactly the same. Step 1, install and update Raspbian. We've already done that. I'm going to skip over step 1, but I highly recommend that you do step 1. Step 2, we're going to install Dev Today and download Plex. So in order to do that, I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to right click and then hit copy. And over here in my terminal, I'm going to right click and paste. We're going to continue to copy paste all the way down here. So next is the echo, copy and paste. And then we're going to sudo apt update. And next we'll install the Plex Media Server after we finish our sudo apt update. There we go. Copy paste. Install the media server. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes, so I'll fast forward through this and be right back. Okay, yes, we want to continue. And we are back. We have just finished installing our Plex Media Server. Now we need to configure permissions here. I'm going to copy paste sudo nano, and this is going to get us into the Plex Media Server file here, and as you can see, our Plex Media Server equals Plex. I'm going to change that to Pi, and I'm going to Control X to exit. Yes, I want to save. Enter to save. And now that is done, and next we will restart our Plex Media Server with our new configuration that we just made. Now the next couple of steps have to do with setting or assigning an internal IP address into your network. Now I've already done that, so I'm going to skip over this step, but I highly recommend it. Now we've got our Plex Media Server restarted, and now we're going to see if we can see our Plex server. So it has your IP address here, colon 32400 web. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, open up a new tab in my browser. I'm going to do localhost, and I'm going to right click, paste. So I've got localhost colon the port number /web. Let's see if we can get there. And voila, I see the Plex server locally now. And the first thing it's going to do is ask me to create an account or log in with my account. Now, if you don't already have an account created, you're going to have to hit sign up with email. Now I'm just going to log in because I already have an account. And let's go ahead and make this full screen. And oh, I love this. This tells me how it's going to work. Now, before we go any further, let me insert my music. And now I've inserted a flash drive into my Raspberry Pi that has my music on it. And I'm going to say, yes, I want to open this in File Manager. And here is my music on my flash drive. I'm going to copy that over to my Pi here. I'm going to open up another file manager here, and it defaults to Home Pi, and then you can see your desktop here, and there's a default folder called Music. Double click on Music. There's nothing in there. Now for the purpose of this demonstration, I am going to select my music, and from my flash drive over here and copy it into my music folder. Now, how did I get my music into this format? I copied this directly from iTunes on my regular computer. And I think there are some videos on how to do that. I think you may need to organize your files first, but the way it works is you've got your artist, and then you have the what I would call an album underneath that, and then underneath that you would have your songs, just like that. All right, so I've got my songs copied onto my micro SD card that runs my Pi, and you will need probably a fairly large one, at least 32 or 64 gigabyte SD card in order to do this project. So let's go back to Plex. How it works: the Plex Media Server runs on the computer where you keep your media, it scans it, and then you can play it with the Plex app. All right, got it. So let's set up our server here. What I'm going to do is not going to incur a monthly cost, but there are lots of options here for a Plex Pass. I'm just going to close that, and I'm going to say next. So it found my server, which is this computer here. It's defaulted to allow me to access my media service outside of my home. Yes, next. And I want to add a library. Yes, I do. So I'm going to click Add Library. And right now I'm going to add music, but you've got lots of options to add videos and movies that you have. So it's called Music. Language is English. Yes, next. Browse for my media folder. I'm going to click on that, and I can see the different choices that are here. I'm going to look for the root directory. Then I'm going to look for where I was just a second ago. So I was at Home, and then I was at Pi, and then I was at Music, and I'm going to hit Add, and I'm going to hit Next. And I don't have a premium music library, so I'm just going to create a basic music library here. That option is defaulted, and I'm going to hit Next. And I'm going to include it in my dashboard, and I'm going to hit Add Library. And I can see it scanning my music right now. I've got my music right here. I'm going to hit Next. It's kind of scanning my music now. That's cool. There are Plex apps. We'll go over that in a second here. Done. Well, specifically, we'll go over the Amazon Alexa skill. And we can now see our Plex server now. And I'll hit Music, and I should be able to see all of my music now. So I have one artist and one album. And if you're wondering, this is all royalty-free music that is provided by Silent Partner YouTube, so that if I play something, then I won't get hit up for copyright here. And then I can directly play the music right here, but I'm not going to do that. This is my Raspberry Pi here, but I've got my Plex server all set up. This is great. I can see my music. I can, there's status, there's settings, but basically this is it. We have everything set up now on the Plex server. Next, I'm going to alexa.amazon.com, and I'm going to log in with the sign-in that I use for my Alexa. I'm going to say, yes, keep me signed in. And I'm going to hit Skills here in the menu on the left-hand side, and then I'm going to search for Plex. And here is Plex. Select that. I'm going to enable that skill, and I'm going to allow this pop-up here. And do I want to authorize? Yes, I do want to authorize this. And it says my skill has been successfully linked. All right, excellent. So let's go to settings, just double check. Yes, it's linked. Okay, perfect. And there we go. That is the enabling and account linking of the Plex Alexa skill so that we can play our music on an Alexa Echo device. Now that we have our Plex server set up, we can now remove our flash drive. We need to eject our flash drive, remove it. We no longer need the mouse and keyboard, and we no longer need our HDMI input. And our Raspberry Pi, now that it is a server, runs just like this with just the power. And we're back. We have loaded the Plex server on my Raspberry Pi 3. I've loaded my music on my Raspberry Pi 3. Let's see if this works. Alexa, ask Plex to play Silent Partner.
Playing music by Silent Partner.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, ask Plex to play The Only Girl.
Playing The Only Girl by Silent Partner from the album YouTube audio library.
Alexa, stop. And now my Plex server works. Now, if you'd like to add more music in the future, you'll have to go through the same process, saving your music onto a flash drive, inserting that flash drive. Now we're adding more music to our Plex server. I've inserted my flash drive and I'm prompted to open in File Manager. Yes, I do. And then I will open another File Manager window here and double click on music. And let's take some music, drag and drop to copy it over from our flash drive to our music folder. Now it's copied over. Now we're gonna head back over to our web browser and I'm gonna select music here. Now this is the Plex server. This is how we interface with the Plex server on our Chromium. And I see music right here. Then I see these three dots. I'm gonna click on the three dots. And then I'm going to click Scan Library Files. And that brings my new music into my Plex server and I can play it from here. I can cast movies or music to my Google Chromecast, and I can also cast music to my Google Home. So it's pretty cool. Hey, thanks for watching and please subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye now.